So here we're told that the sum of the first k integers, and some of you may have already seen this and know this. I'll go over in more detail about where this comes from later. So this is given to you, and the question is, what's the sum of the integers from n to m? So the way they want you to think about this is that sum from 1 through n is, let's say, this, and then sum from 1 to m, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is going to go to m minus 1 plus m. But they want the sum from n to m inclusive, including the n and m both. So here, this, because n is smaller than that, it's going to appear somewhere here, n minus 1 plus n plus 1, n plus 2, and then it will go on and on. What we need is this portion here. And we have to apply this formula for these two conditions. So S of n from that would be n times n plus 1 over 2. Now that includes the n part here, but what we need is this portion here. So Sn minus n. So n times n plus 1 over 2 minus n is this piece here. Now we also know the sum to m terms, again applying that formula. So here what we have is m times m plus 1 over 2 is equal to that, which is this piece, plus what we're interested in. I'll just call that capital X. So this is what we need. So essentially it's about manipulating these terms. And you'll notice we have two terms. One has just m's in it and then n in it. So I'll start by simplifying that. N squared plus n, common denominator is 2 minus 2n. This becomes n squared minus n over 2, which is same as n times n minus 1 over 2. So this piece really is n times n minus 1 over 2. That means x is that term minus n times n minus 1 over 2. And that is indeed in the answer choice, which is C. Now, there's another way to do, when I alluded to that most of you might know where this formula comes from. I'll just go over why and what it is, because it's something common for all these arithmetic sequences. This is an arithmetic sequence. Each term is one apart, the spacing. And that means the average here, which will be the average of the first and last term, k plus 1 over 2, and we have k terms. So the sum is k times k plus 1 over 2. So we could apply this approach directly to what we need to do, which is to go from n to m. So what's the average of all of these terms? It's the average of the first and last term, which would be n plus m over 2. How many terms do I have? Well, last minus first plus 1. So the sum that we're interested in is this. Now, the only problem with this approach is that the terms are written in that format, whereas the answer choices, you have the n's and m's separated out. So one thing, I mean, it's going to be harder to go from here to the answer choices. Well, maybe we could try that. N over 2 plus m over 2. Yeah, actually it would be harder, I think. So let me just multiply these two. So I should point out this is kind of unnecessary, but I wanted to give you another approach where maybe if this wasn't just algebra question, you could apply that directly. Plus m squared minus mn minus m. Are any terms dropping out? Okay, fortunately, yes. So m squared minus m, and then maybe let me write it right, this n squared minus n, and then we have the 2 for both. So here I had to kind of use the answer choices to guide me to where I need to take that. So, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe this is more work, but I just wanted to give you this approach as well. So to summarize, the answer is C.